Right now on NBC 26 at 10 on U.S. soil, a high-ranking North Korean official here for meetings. What it could mean for the possible summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un.
Plus, update in the case. Authorities released the name of an officer involved in a deadly police shooting near the Trestle Trail.
And dangerous days. AAA says summertime is more deadly than any other season for teenagers on the roads. Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. He's the highest-ranking North Korean official to visit the U.S. in nearly 2 decades.
The regime's vice chairman set to meet with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in an effort to make the June 12th summit a go. NBC's Blaine Alexander has the latest from Washington.
For the first time in nearly 20 years, a high-ranking North Korean official on U.S. soil. The regime's vice chairman arriving in New York for pivotal meetings with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. The latest move to save next month's historic sit-down with Kim Jong-un.
The conversation is going to be focused on denuclearization of the peninsula.
But NBC News is reporting a CIA assessment concludes North Korea does not intend to give up its nuclear weapons. So what might they be willing to do? According to that report, open a burger joint, a sign of goodwill.
A lot of us fear the Trump administration is going to settle for a very hollow agreement.
Meanwhile, President Trump is renewing his claim, made without evidence, that the FBI planted a spy in his campaign.
They had people infiltrating our campaign. Can you imagine?
That debunked on Fox News by fellow Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy, who received a classified briefing on the Russia investigation.
I am even more convinced that the FBI did exactly what my fellow citizens would want them to do when they got the information they got, and that it has nothing to do with Donald Trump.
But Gowdy later taking the president's side in his battle with Attorney General Jeff Sessions after the New York Times reported the president asked Sessions to unrecuse himself in the Russia investigation. On Twitter, President Trump quoting Gowdy, saying he could have picked someone else, adding, "I wish I did." Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
We turn to local news now and new developments as we now know the name of the officer who state investigators say shot and killed a man on the Trestle Trail in Fox Crossing. Authorities say that man on the trail had a knife.
NBC 26's Regina Ahn has our details.
The Wisconsin Department of Justice identified the officer as Sealy Moe. They say he served 20 years in law enforcement, 15 of those with the Fox Crossing Police Department. According to the DOJ, Sealy shot and killed 25-year-old Joshua Gomel of Kaukauna. Investigators say Sealy responded to Fritzie Park after the police department received numerous calls from people last Wednesday saying Gomel had a knife and was acting strangely while approaching people. The DOJ says Sealy was the only officer who fired a gun. No officers were hurt. Sealy has been placed on administrative leave, which is per standard policy, as the investigation continues. The DOJ says it's continuing to collect evidence and facts in this case and will turn it over to the Winnebago County District Attorney. They did not say when they expect that report to be complete. In the newsroom, Regina Ahn, NBC 26.
A bank robbery suspect is in jail tonight. Police say it is thanks to a quick-thinking witness. Appleton police arrested a 31-year-old man from Brillion who they say robbed the Chase Bank on West College Avenue yesterday. Police say a witness was able to give a good description of the suspect and a car. Officers say they also questioned a woman who was with the suspect during the robbery, but she was later released because she claimed she had no idea that a robbery was even happening.
Our understanding is she thought they were going to the bank to make a normal transaction, being completely unaware of what his intention was when they entered the bank.
Appleton police have recommended robbery and resisting arrest charges for the 31-year-old suspect.
Green Bay police want bicyclers to lock up their bikes this summer. This comes after bikes have been stolen. Now, since May 6th, there have been 7 different cases involving a total of 12 bikes being stolen. The department does offer free bike licenses, which can better track a bike if it has been lost or stolen. Well, as teens leave school for the summer, a safety warning here about driving.
AAA says teens are involved in deadly crashes that kill 10 people every day during the summer months. NBC 26's Max Grossfeld joins us live now from Ashwaubenon with more. Max.
John and Cassandra, AAA calls it the 100 deadliest days. It's the time between Memorial Day and Labor Day where teens are most at risk of killing themselves or killing someone else on the roads. Tonight we talked with parents about what families can do to stay safe. Crashes like this one, 5 teens in the car, one ending up dead, are the stuff of nightmares for parents as their teens start to drive.
As a parent, always concerned, and always for the first time, you're going to be pacing the floor until they get home.
Stacy Oswald says she's a former first responder with a daughter now in driver's ed. She says she's seen firsthand what distracted driving can do.
Taking any seconds off of your eyes off of the road can be a fatality.
AAA says distracted driving accounts for about 60% of teen crashes.
Oh! That was my phone.
Most of the time when you roll up to somebody, they're staring down, they're texting, and people can't seem to get off of social media.
The Wisconsin DOT says parents share in the responsibility to make sure young drivers develop good habits.
It all starts with the role models that show them how to drive and what's appropriate and how they're doing their driving tasks. So if a parent's using their cell phone, it's pretty likely their son or daughter will be using it as well.
Still, no matter how many precautions families take, parents say the fear of getting the midnight call never really goes away.
When one's through it, you soften up a little, but you're always worried.
Put on the brake.
AAA suggests using a parent-teen driving agreement to set up rules so everyone stays safe. Driving at night and speeding are major risk factors for teens during the summer months. AAA says both account for about a third of deadly crashes involving teenagers. Reporting live in Ashwaubenon, Max Grossfeld, NBC 26.
Thank you, Max. 2 people have already been killed from the wrath of Alberto, and North Carolina has just declared a state of emergency. Remnants of the subtropical depression are bringing heavy rains, flooding, and mudslides to western parts of the state. North Carolina's governor also issuing a travel warning for drivers with more rain expected. So what's left of Alberto? It is just now to our east.
Cameron's here, and Cameron, what are you seeing from that storm right now?
Well, let's take a look at Storm Shield radar. You can see that Alberto is producing tropical downpours right now across the Door Peninsula and out over central and northern Lake Michigan. In fact, we've got quite the light show here in Jacksonport, Bailey's Harbor, all the way up to Washington Island. But that is the end of Alberto. It's currently moving across lower Michigan. It'll be making its way north and east throughout the night. Behind it, we're looking at drying conditions and clearing skies, but it's still very warm and muggy. Almost a tropical night out there with 60s and lower 70s. Tomorrow morning at the bus stop, look for 70 degrees, a little bit of patchy fog is possible. Warm and humid by the final bell. Chance for a thunderstorm with highs back up into the mid and upper 80s. Back to you.
Cameron, thank you. And flights are once again taking off from Milwaukee's General Mitchell Airport. A military plane made an emergency landing this afternoon. The airport says a lightning strike forced that KC-135 to land with 2 blown out tires. The crew wasn't hurt. Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Shirley Abrahamson has decided not to run for re-election next year. The 84-year-old says in a statement, quote, "For a variety of reasons, I have decided not to seek re-election," unquote, calling it the right decision for her and the state. Abrahamson is the former longtime Chief Justice and the first woman on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, joining back in 1976. As thousands of people are expected to flock to Door County for the summer season, some businesses have worries about not having enough staff.
Owners, there might not be enough workers to handle their rush. NBC 26's Mo Hyder has more from Sturgeon Bay.
The Island Fever Rum Bar and Grill in Jacksonport is open up for business this summer, but they say they could use a little extra help.
Yeah, it's a continuing problem. I mean, it gets worse each year.
Along with other businesses, they say they're having trouble finding workers.
More and more businesses opening up, and there's fewer and fewer people wanting to work.
Businesses in Sturgeon Bay are also feeling the effects. Bayshore Outfitter says potential workers can't find a place to stay.
Lack of housing is a big thing up here. People are just not able to find any housing. A lot of the rental properties are turning into Airbnbs now, and just no place for the employees to live.
They say it's taking them longer to put together a full staff.
You know, in the past, we've gotten applicants right away. Spring break is when a lot of the college kids come up here looking for positions, and we're usually fully staffed by the beginning of May.
The Door County Visitor Bureau says they are trying to find ways to bring in a young workforce.
Social media is huge right now, especially with the younger generation, and so we wanted to do our job marketing in those places to get that younger generation.
In the meantime, local businesses say they just have to adjust.
You just got to kind of make do with what you have. Cut back your menu at times. Some years you have more staff than others.
Now, other places in Door County are cutting hours or not opening up at all because of their staffing issues. Keeping you connected in Sturgeon Bay, May30, NBC 26.
Well, coming up, earning the highest achievement.
See how a local Girl Scout was honored as she tries to help the environment.
And now, your Storm Shield forecast with NBC 26 Chief Meteorologist Cameron Moreland.
With temperatures running 5 to 15 to almost 25 degrees cooler than yesterday, the heat wave came to an abrupt halt today. For the first time in almost a week, there were no 90s across the area. We only had 180, that was in Fond du Lac, and everybody else had temperatures in the 70s. Now, we are going to warm up tomorrow, but overall, cooler weather is expected as we head through the next week or so, as you can see on your 7-day temperature trend. Tonight, we are looking at very warm and muggy conditions across most of northeast Wisconsin. It is currently 72 in Wapaka. We've got 68 degrees in Oshkosh with overcast conditions in Green Bay. The temperature is 69 in Appleton with cloudy skies. The temperature is 70 and the dew point is also 70. And 70 is the point at which we really start to feel the thickness of the air. You can see dew points in the upper 60s to lower 70s today. That will continue into tomorrow. So a very tropical feel to the air mass tonight, thanks to the remnants of Alberto. And you can see heavy rain now falling across northern Lake Michigan from Alberto. We also have some heavy rain here across Door County, some very heavy thunderstorms just to the east of Door County, where the rain totals have really been impressive over the last hour or so. If you watched last night, I mentioned the potential for tropical downpours that would be hit or miss. And that's exactly what happened today. We got hit west of the Fox Valley, about 1 to 2 to 3 inches of rain. And we're also getting hit east of the lakeshore tonight with 1 to 2 to 3 to almost 4 inches of rain with those thunderstorms that are now occurring across northern Lake Michigan. And here's the culprit, Alberto moving to the north. This is the farthest northwest a tropical system has ever moved in the U.S. during the month of May. And you can see how well defined it was here, almost picking out an eye west of Indianapolis earlier this afternoon. But now Alberto is lifting away. We've got high pressure building in for tomorrow, and a cold front will move in for tomorrow night. Underneath the high pressure system to our west, lots of sunshine today, temperatures in the 80s, and that's what we can expect as we move into tomorrow with sunshine and a gusty westerly wind. We're going to be looking at highs getting up into the mid and upper 80s, but then the cold front will move through. And as that happens, our chances for showers and thunderstorms will be going up. As you take a look at Skycast, you can see sun and clouds by the afternoon. Chance for a shower or a thunderstorm, especially by evening. Right now, severe weather is not expected, but I'll keep a close eye on it for you. Then the cold front moves through tomorrow night with gusty northeast winds behind it. And that means it's really going to cool down on Friday with 60s and 70s instead of the 80s and 90s we've grown accustomed to. So tonight, look for clearing skies. It's going to be muggy. We will see a little bit of fog as well, lows in the 60s. Tomorrow, warm and humid with a few thunderstorms, especially during the evening hours, but a few could pop up during the late afternoon. My 3-degree guarantee for tomorrow is 86. If I can hit that high within 3 degrees, we will donate $100 to Ben's Wish, and we did that today. I forecast 77, and the high temperature was 79 degrees. On Saturday, it looks pretty nice. We'll see 70 degrees. Sunday, chance for some showers and thunderstorms, 60 to around 70. We warm up a little bit on Monday, upper 70s, and then we'll see seasonable, upper 60s to lower 70s as we move deeper into June.
Seeing a little bit of everything out there, and like you said, tropical tonight.
Yeah, it's got that feel to it. Almost feels like Florida a little bit out there.
Wild to see that storm so far north.
Pretty crazy. It's never happened before in May.
Amazing. Cameron, thanks so much. We'll be right back.
A local teen earns the highest award in the Girl Scouts organization.
She did it by finishing a service project that will help the environment. Stacey Engebretson has more in tonight's NBC 26 Cares.
Brianna Bellows joined the Girl Scouts in kindergarten. Now a senior at St. Mary's Springs Academy in Fond du Lac, she's finally earned the prestigious Gold Award, something only about 5% of Girl Scouts nationwide achieve each year. Brianna Bellows wears her gold award with pride.
It's definitely something that I've wanted since I first got into Girl Scouts.
Her determination led to heavily decorated sashes, but her Gold Star pin is the pinnacle of her journey with the Girl Scouts.
It entails years of planning and preparation, earning awards, working on service projects and take action projects that are sustainable.
Bellows' final project to earn the Gold Star Award, building 10 native bee houses and donating them to Gottfried Prairie, a 42-acre restored native prairie on the UW-Fond du Lac campus.
With habitat loss due to urban sprawl and more people building homes in residential type areas, the mason bees just don't have as much habitat as they used to.
Executive Director Tracy McDermott says before European honeybees were brought into the U.S., native bees were the primary pollinators. She says if native bees disappear, our ecosystem could be in trouble.
Native bees do everything from pollinating plants, so ensuring that plant species keep going. Plant species support other insects, insects support other wildlife health, and it goes on and on.
Bellows became passionate about protecting native bees after meeting McDermott at a farmer's market. The teen then presented her bee house proposal to the Girl Scouts. After receiving approval, she coordinated a team of volunteers to help assemble the bee boxes.
Big thanks to my grandpa. He donated all the wood for this project.
Bellows put in at least 80 hours of work, a requirement to earn the Gold Award.
I'm very, very proud of what she's accomplished. It really sets every girl up for being able to be a risk taker and be able to seek challenges and overcome obstacles in their life, to be a real leader.
Now this Gold Award recipient hopes to inspire others to act.
I kind of hope that the community will get a little bit more involved in preserving the species. Native bees definitely aren't as popular as English bees, so seeing bee houses actually made for them might help others to do the same.
Gottfried Prairie, an arboretum, is incorporating Bellows bee houses into its educational programming. This July, she heads to basic training with the U.S. Air Force. She says her Gold Star Award allowed her to get an immediate increase in military rank, which comes with higher pay. Stacey Engebretson, NBC 26.
So what's next? Well, Bellows plans to study the intelligence field in college, which could lend her a job with the FBI or the CIA.
Cancer survivors at Fox Valley Hematology and Oncology ringing bells and celebrating their fight and others to beat the deadly disease. Bell ringing is a tradition in cancer care facilities across the country, marking the end of a patient's chemotherapy and radiation treatments.
So it's a celebration really of any milestone. Some people won't get to ring that bell, but many people get to. And so I'm so excited to be here today to celebrate what Fox Valley Hematology and Oncology gave to our family, which is a gift of time.
Today's Ring That Bell event will be the last one held at FVHO as they prepare their transition to Theta Care. Well, still ahead, Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight, and closer to home, playoff baseball of the high school variety. It's all coming up next in sports.
And now, NBC 26 Sports with Sports Director Charlie Sakaitis.
Welcome back to the show. It's been a bit of a wild week in sports, one that's included possible burner Twitter accounts for NBA executives, a former Packer claiming he'd buy jerseys for every retweet he gets if the Cavs win the NBA Finals. But here in Northeast Wisconsin, things are somewhat simpler. We've got games and outcomes, because that's how sports are supposed to be. We begin with a spotlight on the high school baseball sectionals. Second seed Freedom against top seed Fox Valley Lutheran in Division II. The Foxes came to hit this afternoon. Bottom of the first, Big Billy Duro pokes this one through the left hole, and that's where the wheels turn. Colton Schild and Blaine Venstein both score, and that gives FVL a 2-0 lead. On to the second, Ben Utenbrook crushes one to left center. Another pair of Foxes make their trip around the bags, and it's 4-zip FBL. Skip ahead to the 4th. Billy Duro is back to wreak more havoc. He almost knocked a home run later in the game. A sac fly here will do to get the job done. Fox Valley Lutheran wins the regional 8-0. They'll face Luxembourg Casco in the sectional semis next. Now to the national scene, where the biggest show on the biggest stage is in a city with all the big shows and all the big stages. Stanley Cup Finals Game 2 in Las Vegas. The Golden Knights with a 1-0 lead in this matchup and what appears to be a full-on Army ready to hit the ice. First period, the home team getting on the board early. James Neal, the placement perfect, and Vegas has a 1-0 advantage. Ahead to the second, now a 1-1 contest, and the captain himself, Alex Ovechkin, putting the Capitals in front, which takes us to the late third, where it's 3-2, DC with a lead, a scant 2 minutes remaining, and Braden Holtby defending that lead with the save of the series, maybe the save of the year, turns away Alex Touch. DC evens this thing up at 1-1. They win the game by that 3-2 score. On to baseball. The Brewers looking to bounce back after a loss last night. Their second shot at the Cardinals in as many days. The Crew with an opportunity to pick up their 8th win in their last 10 games and a National League best 36th win this year. Top 5, no score, and Junior Guerra keeps it that way, ringing up a pair to end the frame. Guerra with 7 Ks in 6 shutout innings. Strong effort. I liked it, but not as much as I liked the sausage race. Nice job by the Italian getting the win. Ahead to the 7th 2-2 game in Orlando. Arcia back in the lineup, puts bat to ball, finds a bit of greenery in right. That's going to lead to this final 3-2. Milwaukee wins. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the sports keeping you connected. I'm Charlie Sakaitis for NBC 26.
Welcome back. Heavy rain from Alberto still hitting Door County. It'll be out of here within the next couple of hours. Tomorrow, sunshine returns, and so does the heat. Mid to upper 80s and humid.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much for being with us.
Good night.